Okay, we're doing something new and different this morning. We're going to be very quiet because Amber is on the phone. But good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning, Shanda.
Except for my music, I'm sorry.
These are important matters we need to cover. Seriously important, because guess what? The Washington State ballots dropped today. Did you get your ballot yet, Shanda?
You know, I haven't checked the mail. I probably is sitting out in my box.
Oh, okay. Well, Oz has got this creepy Joe Biden voice going on this morning. So. I apologize. No, seriously. Good morning, Al. We missed you yesterday.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we miss our Al. Revolve Media. The Federation of Independent Media is coming. Who the hell is that? Welcome, by the way.
Is that Franklin?
I don't know who the hell that is. I mean, Franklin's right above that. Is it Revolve Media?
Franklins?
No, I don't know. Maybe it's not a unique idea. Al says Vermont is back again on Cool Humid Friday with a predicted high of 70 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's where we're at, where I am right now, too.
Yeah,
nice. It's kind of cold this morning.
you and Shanda's town really kind of has something in common there. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Again, I'll forewarn you, we're going to have a really kind of an easygoing country song going out because I've been complained at that you don't play enough country music. I mean, Chris has been screaming for not Willie Nelson, but Johnny Cash. But today's not going to be Johnny Cash. So anyway, you were in town getting a haircut. You know what, Al? I can get the fastest haircut in town, so I'm lucky. Yeah. Anyway, hey, Shanda, guess what? Guess what, Shanda?
What?
I got called a privileged white guy again yesterday.
I know, and I appreciate it.
Oh my God! I'm going to wear that as a badge of honor. I am a privileged white guy in my 1975 mobile home, which I adore, and I'm happy, and I am privileged because I'm not out under a bridge in Seattle with our sisters and brothers. So I am privileged. Thank you for the compliment, by the way.
You got to be careful of those basement dwellers. You know.
Oh my God!
He warned us.
Yeah. Hey, Mom, can I stay in your basement until I can't find a job for the next 20 years? We're gonna move along here. Amber is going to jump in when she can. But who do we have? We've got Amber, you're so cute.
She's on an important phone call with the Joe Biden campaign.
Oh, she's on a mission from God. Okay. How's our sound audience today? They, they give me a discount. Actually, honestly, Al, my wife cuts my hair, and she doesn't mind doing
Half
it
price.
because it takes one snip, and then she's done. We got Amy Goodman coming in here right away, and Amy's going to talk about this big hoax that we have going on in this nation. Right? Is that it, Shanda? It's a big hoax.
Whose conspiracy theory about coronavirus was recently retweeted by President Trump, has revealed his son contracted COVID-19. Over the weekend, President Trump retweeted a claim by Chuck Woolery, the former host of Love Connection, that, quote, the most outrageous lies are the ones about COVID-19. Everyone's lying, the CDC, media, Democrats, and our doctors. A day after Woolery tweeted, quote, COVID-19 is real and it is here. My son tested positive for the virus, and I feel for those suffering and especially for those who have lost loved ones. President Trump did not retweet that tweet. On Wednesday, Woolery abruptly deactivated his Twitter account.
Interesting.
We have a president who is retweeting a Love Connections host. This is just insane. But instant karma. His son got it. Best to his son. Hopefully he'll recover. But just how crazy.
I don't wish ill on these people. Well, maybe I do wish a little ill. But I had this pop up on my feed yesterday, and this was U.S. coronavirus. More than 940 deaths reported in one day. Now, to all you, it's a hoax, it's a government conspiracy to hurt us like sheep. Well, it's doing a pretty good job, but it's not hurting us like sheep. It's hurting us to slaughter. So, for a hoax, I think it's killing a lot of people. What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, come on. We called this weeks ago. We called this months ago on the Accidental Activist, on the Daily Dive. We told you guys a big wave was coming, that we weren't clear from this. But Amber, if you can hear me, Jilly Lev says, don't put the phone to your ear.
Yeah, Amber, of all people. All people. I mean, it's gonna 4G your brain. Is it a 4G phone? 3G phone. Oh my God in heaven. Yeah.
Well, they all have 5G capability now.
Yeah, well, yeah. Tell me something, Shanda. Does it do any good to wear a Bluetooth and so you don't keep the phone up to your head, or is the Bluetooth worse? Or do you know?
I do know, because I've spent a lot of time working on this, and I think as long as it's pulling the waves to you, then it doesn't matter either way.
Well, maybe somebody somebody.
So you can go look on your phone right now, and it'll tell you how much exposure you're getting. You go to your information in your settings, especially with iPhone, and it will tell you what the recommendations are. And most recommended cell phones are at least 3 inches away from your head at all times.
Okay, I was just curious because maybe somebody in the chat can answer that question. I know it doesn't do well for Meniere's syndrome. Plugging up your natural ability to have airflow or pressure in your head. Amber, do you have anything to say on this? Are you back now?
I'm back now. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. I've gone in twice. Woo! Just checking. That was an emergency phone call. I normally have had a headset on, but they promised me that was going to be real quick. Of course, it wasn't. Good news is there is a Joe Biden campaign. I know you were all worried about that out there. And I just want to let you know that Uncle Joe is alive in his basement.
Did he say he was going to give us Medicare for all?
What? No.
What? Yeah.
No. Yeah. I'm still really tiny, Oz. I'm like, can I come out of my high chair?
I represent the lollipop.
I'm going to.
I mean, my family's not known for their striking height, but.
Now, yeah, that's true. We understand. What are you, 3'8", Amber?
You'd think so by watching her on the dive.
Now we're going to blame this on the studio, okay? Because it's the studio that keeps. But Shanda bopped out and I came back and I reset everybody. So you're on screen one. Let's see if we can fix this. This is technical crap, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, is that better? Okay, let's see what we got here. All right, let's try it again. By the way, I another mea culpa here. I was telling Shanda I got called to being a white privileged guy yesterday. The other thing is yes, I am in hobby stages with this production working with Uphill Media. We hope to expand it to become more than just a hobby because we have so many activists who are running for office in this group. So I think that it's made of the kind of cloth that our audience and other audiences would want us to be. We're actually walking our talk. We're not just talking. So again, I commend you. And Amber, did you get your ballot today?
I haven't yet, although the mail hasn't come. But I got my voter guide. Very happy about that. Very fun to read everybody's, having gone through the process and actually having to write your own voter guide statement. It's very funny to go back and look at some of the other candidates throughout the years because of course, they live online indefinitely. So being able to go back and look through that and read them, it's pretty funny. I didn't sound too bad.
That's terrific. I got my ballot yesterday, as a matter of fact. I cracked it open this morning. And lo and behold, I get to vote for one of our mutual friends. I didn't think that would happen up in your area, Franklin Walburn. What is he running for again?
He is running for Secretary of Public Lands.
I can't think of anyone to do a better job than Franklin on that list. So thank you for running, Franklin, and you've got my vote, buddy. So that's the one I did notice. And, of course, we've got Joshua Collins down here in the 10th. And the rest, I'm going to let you ladies tell me who to vote for because I don't know who they are. So
yeah, I just sent you just a really cool drop, because we were talking about it, a really interesting test that shows when you have a wired headset, you end up with more radiation.
A wired headset?
So, yeah, we were just talking about Bluetooth, if it was worse.
Well, what about...
Yeah, Bluetooth's even worse. But,
thanks.
Even just wired headphones.
Wired headphones.
So they just run it right through. The wires to your brain.
So Bluetooth's worse than holding the phone up next to your brain pan? Is that correct?
Yes, and even just wired headphones.
And even wired headphones. It's like hot dropping from the reactor into your head, right? Is that what it is? Okay, I get it now. That's that technical stuff. I got to use the old slang. So I guess the last question on that, since you were so kind to drop me that link. Is it true that this could lead to tinnitus, not tendonitis? Tinnitus, the ringing
tumors,
in the ears.
You name it. Okay. It leads to all of it.
Okay, so the ringing in my ears that started like 4 or 5 years ago, this is probably why, because of the earbud in my head. Would you say?
Or it could be the EMFs bouncing off your house. If you live in a mobile home like me, it's a big metal freaking Faraday box.
Well, okay, well, all right. So forget worrying about the Fukushima in the water. Just this is okay.
We're so screwed.
We're so screwed. Anyway, okay, we got Amy Goodman in there with the coronavirus. Have you had any hotspots, Amber, since you're back in the conversation? Jump up in your area? I know that Bellingham has. So.
I haven't seen anything. Although I was reading. Now the governor, effective July 20th, we're now banned from having all live music events.
Yep.
Okay. What about
anything over 10 people? Right.
Does that include weddings?
Anything
that
over
includes
10 people.
Any gathering over 10 people and no live music
outside
or anything. Anywhere.
Anything.
Okay, can you drop me that link so I can send it to my daughter so she won't be mad at me anymore for not going up
I'm not aiding and abetting you.
Please do. Please
Oz's daughter.
I love my daughter. I just cannot take the risk. I mean, it's like a domino effect. I'm going to whine and cry again. First of all, we have to move from our location. We have to bring our dogs because I'm not going to have them put in a kennel or have them sat. So it's just like, oh my God, it's just, and if you break down on the freeway, I mean, the chances of exposure increase exponentially when you go out that gate. And I don't want to be part of the issue. I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore.
I agree, Oz. I don't leave my house very often. I'm supposed to go sign waving for Rebecca Parsons today, and I'm just like, is it worth it to encounter even somebody for 10 seconds outside of McDonald's and bring it home to my husband?
Yeah, I know. Amber, what's your feelings about this?
I feel okay outdoors.
Just outdoors, right?
Yeah, I think we have a greater risk going to the neighborhood grocery store.
Right.
Yeah.
Than attending, say, a wedding outdoors. I'm not feeling. I'm not going to live in fear to a certain extent. I'm going to make good decisions. I'm going to be safe. I will wear a mask, even though I know damn well they don't do what we need them to do to actually protect anybody. But
yep.
Yeah. Do what you have to.
Well,
but it's also a piece about just maintaining good hygiene and good health, and that's the part that is really frustrating me the most with this, is we're still not talking about how to have a healthier country, how to eat healthy, how to make sure that people on the edge are healthier, and that they're seeing a lot of damage through this disease, through a lot of the similar issues that we've been bringing up for many, many years, having to do with your gut health, having to do with irradiation and how your body is going to produce glutathione, which is a direct result of our mental stability and also the connection between the gut and the brain.
Yep.
And so destroying that, eating bad foods, not really taking care of yourself,
your immune
is
system.
really, really dangerous to that. And we're still just ignoring it. And that's really bothering me.
Okay, so
we can build a healthy immune system, and that gives you a huge shield of fighting this. And if you do get it, your odds are so much better if you have a strong immune system.
So
eating probiotics, eating fermented foods, eating sauerkraut every day. I mean, you're not hearing that. And everybody I know who's been put on a ventilator gets insanely sick and dies, and they're not allowed to talk about it, how it could not be the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Because it's it's bad PR for them.
So
they've turned this into this political fight, and they don't want to really deal with trying to fix the underlying issues with our public health, and that's what's frustrating me the most.
Did you hear what Nazi Barbie said? We don't want science to get in the way.
Science to get in the way.
Well, we don't want science to get in the way of any corporate profit.
Yeah.
That's why we look to maintain control over it and fund all of it.
Yeah. Amber, you mentioned something. Does this do any good? See, I was a pharmacy tech in my old life. I have glutathione supplements. Does that help?
Yes.
Okay. So
absolutely.
Okay.
And it's also, it depends on what your blood type is. They're showing, that's why certain racial characteristics based on blood type are getting hit so much harder. And we're not having that conversation either.
Now, you said my blood type is more proofed against the possibility of getting it, right?
Yes. Okay. Which to me, leads to more manufacturing of dissent of, that this isn't a wild virus. A wild virus wouldn't technically just pick those characteristics. I find that a little too convenient.
Yeah, me too. I think it was engineered to seek out a certain subset.
I'll do my next show after this week on some of this stuff and try and get some additional information for people, because it is very damaging for people to live in fear. It's really damaging to the psyche. It's damaging to our children, and I don't think this is going away anytime soon.
No.
I firmly believe this is a gain-of-function virus, and that means it's going to keep morphing. It's going to keep changing. There's not going to be herd immunity in any sense, natural or vaccinated.
Yep.
Because it's going to keep changing and picking its best survival stat. It's going to pick that one thing that helps it survive better, and it's going to mutate to that. And that's part of the thing that they saw. Oh, well, this, nobody's talking about strains anymore. You notice that?
Yeah, right.
Now,
we talked a lot about that in February and March. And then by May, it was like, oh, no, this is one disease.
Right, even though we heard there was 3-4 different strains out there, some worse than others.
Yeah, when are they going to get their shit straight? Or do they even?
They're not. They're not, because they're beholden to the corporate agenda. That's the problem. The science is bought.
Okay. All right. So.
And that does not mean that there is not amazing people out there that are incredibly talented trying to solve this or work hard at it. The problem is you're not going to get an answer. You're not going to get that in the news. You're not going to get that in the news cycle, because it doesn't fit the agenda. The minute there is real excellent information on what we need to be doing, it will most likely be, you'll be silenced, you'll be off, you'll be, if it doesn't fit their corporate agenda, it's not going to go anywhere. And we've seen that for the last 30 years, not only in the U.S., but around the world.
Well, that's consistent with everything that the corporate overlords have done to the country. It's one of the big ones that stood out was when they came out with that carburetor, I think it was Mazda, that would get 71 miles per gallon back in the 70s, and they just bought it up and silenced it. And I think they're going to do this in the way, and some may disagree with me, but the profits that they get from cancer and all these other maladies that are killing people, and the benefit of fear is just too much of a good thing for that sick, twisted 1%. We are going through, and I talked about this last week, we are in trauma day after day after day. We haven't even got to stage of PTSD, which I hope we do someday. But as you're saying here, this strain is like any living thing. It's going to fight to survive. Is that correct? And it's going to morph and change and get worse and try and find living hosts no matter what, right?
That's its job.
That's its job. So I guess what I take away from what you ladies are telling me today is quit eating the barbecued Lay's potato chips and eating the oatmeal, and try and get a better diet. One right there. Diet, exercise, the same old stuff that they've been telling us forever, which will help at least maybe give us strength enough to weather this thing. Is that what is? Am I correct or what?
Yeah. Well, it's not a quick fix.
It's not a quick fix. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
This is 30 years of destruction of our health in the United States and a lack of resources
and our food supply.
And so you've got there's not a quick fix to that. That is a those are some of the solutions, and you need to like get on it immediately, rip through your pantries, toss out all the garbage, and and the ice cream bars off.
But the garbage tastes good.
It does taste good, and we're that's the problem too, is when we're stressed, we eat. Everybody's gained more weight because of COVID, myself included. We're not getting out and exercising like we should, because now we're supposed to wear a mask. Well, it's you can't run down the street or ride your bike with a mask on and breathe enough oxygen. I mean, we are seeing people passing out at the wheel from lack of oxygen, and it does cause issues. You can't, they make special masks for being able to exercise.
I want to speak to that too. I got into it with a couple of people in a nice way about to mask or not to mask, and people about having breathing issues. I was out, we went to our monthly shopping the other day. Okay, Joey had made a practical mask. We were using the filter. And for me, because number one, I'm overweight, I'm out of shape, that sort of stuff, it was difficult for me to breathe with that mask on. I wore it, but it was still hard. And I can't think of how somebody that's in worse shape than me would roll in that situation. So I am sympathetic to that. So again, I'm saying I wear the mask for two reasons. One of them is to show everybody I'm concerned. The other one is whatever benefit it may have, I'm going to take that. I'm going to err on that side. That's all. So there, again, I think, thank you for covering that so well. And we are looking forward to a very good show that you will do on this whole mess that we're in, so people will at least get the opinions of somebody who is very well traveled in this particular area.
And I just want to say I don't have the answers, but the best I can do is to get us to a better state. And I really wish we would start focusing on that. We need to focus on our creativity. We need to focus on, dealing with a lot of these phobias and fears, and not let it control our world. And that's a really important piece. At the same, you can do that safely and, connect with your family, or, connect with your neighbors and help your community. You can, I don't think sign waving is going to be a big risk unless you're sign waving inside a small box and, there's no fresh air and wind. But it's everything is a risk right now. So we all have different levels of comfort, and we're all kind of processing and working through that, myself included, with autoimmune conditions that are susceptible to a lot, and young kids at home.
And Snork says, and I agree with Snork's intent, I believe, here too. Snork's a real sharp guy. I really appreciate his point of view. It always amazes me how people are being sheep-herded, interfering radiation from cell phones and ignoring the mass exposure from, quote, natural spring water and fluorescent lights. Them too, Snork. I'm with you.
Yeah, them too.
Yeah, we get kind of myopic in our fearing about things, and I just can't get my mind wrapped around it all. So, again, moving right along, that was a great discussion. It only took 23 minutes.
We're getting radiation from fucking everywhere. Not just cell phones or springs or fluorescent lights. Yeah. It's in the food we're eating.
Yeah, talk about
beaches
that.
We're walking on.
Your seafood.
Well, and for all those people in, Idaho burning masks, or thinking, I need to move to Idaho because they're the land of freedom now. Idaho has the highest radiation levels of any state in the entire country. So just wallop around that and say, thanks, Monsanto. Yeah. I need more fluoride.
More fluoride.
And why is that? Because they're downwind from Hanford?
So they're downwind from Hanford. A lot of that does go that direction. They also have the Idaho National Laboratory has been started back up again, and then they've got things like the Falls, where Monsanto has a huge Superfund site where they are literally like it's a like hour 45-minute treat when they dump molten lava down or molten metal or whatever, sludge down the hillsides. They're mining for white sulfur, and that's where the fluoride, sodium fluoride comes from as a byproduct. But you get white sulfur, and then you get phosphorus for for more glyphosate. So
does that go in the air?
huge Superfund site.
Does that go-
Toxic, the whole
Is
area
it right next to the Silverwood, the big old water theme park?
Yeah, no, that's farther north. This is down more towards Utah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But I know that there's a big uranium mine up north in Washington, which is just right across the border.
Yeah, there is a lot of uranium mining happening also in, it's part of feeding the monster, looking at like the Bear's Tooth and that whole kind of outside of the Rocky Strip has a lot of uranium mining. And, and they, it's a right to work state, so they don't give a shit if they poison the environment.
So
God, we have digressed so bad today.
Yeah, it has been. Yeah, but
what's our pretty boy want to talk about?
Well,
I made up with Pretty Boy. I brought him in today.
Seriously?
Yeah.
It better be good, Shanda.
Let me.
It is.
Let me.
It's not good.
Let me tell you, you guys have just helped me out immensely, because now after Yucca Mountain in Nevada, I have another destination point, and that's Idaho, and it sounds like there's more things to see there.
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
Utah too.
Pretty boy. Yeah, he's talking about my hometown.
Another example here of them walking down a street in Portland and just harassing people and driving off.
You need to back it up.
Where to?
This should freak you out. Regardless of your ideology, regardless of who you vote for, this should freak you out. Another example here of them walking down a street in Portland and just harassing people. So here you have a military force occupying the streets of Portland, scaring people off.
Yeah, I started at 151, so I got the clips cut.
Wow,
different,
okay.
So, yeah.
Well, in the very beginning of this, you see a vehicle, a minivan, pull up. A bunch of military-clad guys jump out and just grab a protester. They won't answer questions. They're like, "What are you doing? Who are you?" And they just throw a protester in the car and take off. And we saw this in Minneapolis last month, too.
So they're disappearing people.
Yep.
And
From OPB, it's like stop and frisk meets Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah.
In Portland, downtown Portland, the governor, the mayor are doing absolutely nothing.
why aren't the governor arresting these guys who are breaking the law before their eyes? They're not Oregon people. They're not Oregon law. These are feds. Is that correct?
These are feds. This is Trump's secret police. They're literally kidnapping people off the streets. No Miranda rights.
Yep.
No, rules of engagement being followed. It's unidentified federal officers. They come up in, they're basically, paramilitary secret police force, and they're showing up in unmarked vehicles, dumping out on the streets, grabbing people. This is when we saw the guy who was having a seizure, and the officer, the military guy had his knee on the neck yet again, and there's like 40-50 people screaming at him to please stop. He's having a seizure.
And
didn't happen.
He didn't
Kept
stop.
going.
He didn't stop. Did that person die?
I don't know. I don't know if they. I mean, this is the thing. It's like, we the media need to be reporting on this. We don't know who these people are. We don't know who's taking them. We have no way to track where they're going. We don't know who the victims are either, and how to track where they are and if they're doing better or not. It's really, really scary.
It is very scary. Very. And, we don't know if these people are issued bail, if they're booked. We haven't got any information of where they go. They're just disappeared.
Well, Well, what do we do? I mean, we see the increase in guns and ammunition sales. I know they're fearing people into buying protective weapons. That's one aspect, but that's not going to do anything in this case, because why? Why is that going to just exacerbate the situation, or is it?
It will exacerbate it, and if Trump gets his way, it will be more than just Portland that we're seeing this at. He wants to send people into Chicago because they've got the highest crime rate. So why can't we just do something about it, regardless if the governors or the local officials are asking for help?
And I'd like to let him know the 1980s are over and they'd like their South Side back.
He doesn't know that.
Now you're
He doesn't know the difference.
Now you're mimicking Obama. And then what did Obama do? He turns around and does what he did. With the Cold War thing and the Democrats and everything else. So, yeah, wow, kind of another cray-cray situation. That's kind of happened in Seattle though already, hasn't it? Aren't they like?
Yeah, we were kind of seeing that in Seattle during.
Now they're just shooting.
Yeah.
They're shooting.
But I also want to let you know too, there is still daily protests in Seattle. There is still Black female-led marches every single day in Seattle. It's just not on the news. It's still happening. This is going nowhere. We have so many people so angry and so frustrated and so disenfranchised with the system that it's not going away. And this is why I keep telling people that our youth need us to get out and help them. This is new to them. They don't know their rights as well. They haven't been trained, in active protest tactics. And it's very volatile and dangerous. And they need, us old people in our wheelchairs or whatever to go stand in solidarity with them.
Yep. Absolutely. Jilly says, very V for vendetta.
Yeah, it is. It's going to need that insight and awareness. Oh my God, military used against its own citizens, only in the USA. I agree, but it's not just in the USA, unfortunately. So I think, isn't Bolsonaro using in other jurisdictions, using their military?
This is happening around the world, and this is just endemic to what we've always been doing, but it's like, and Kate Brown, the governor of Oregon, has, condemned this, but not very hard. And nobody in Congress is opening up an investigation. So, and then you've got, crazy Uncle Joe going, oh, the police need more funding.
He can't make up his mind.
Can you
One
do
day
that
he says
again?
defund, the next day he says fund.
He doesn't. I don't think he knows the difference anymore. I mean, it's just insane. And then the other thing too, like there's a great article in The Intercept. I know I did drop a link somewhere that, leaked documents are showing that the police knew the far-right extremists were the real threat at these protests, not Antifa. And we've seen that played out, and we'll be talking a little bit about that more tonight. But, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, we need to shame the shit out of them. When you're on the front lines, you shame them. They are Americans just like we are. How dare you stomp on constitutional rights? That's the only
What did their grandparents fight for?
Exactly.
Not for that.
Do they care if you shame them at this point, or
Some of them do. Some of them do.
Well, and then that's what you see. What was it, like 30% of the police force in Minneapolis wanted to call for the PTSD. So we're just so everybody knows, we're going to go super in depth with this tonight on this article. But it's like they know what's going on. They don't give a shit. They're trying to, rewrite history.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
be safe if you're on the streets, man.
It's hard to get my mind wrapped around all this because there's so many issues that need to be dealt with at once. I mean, you've got the apologists. I got burned down on a post. I think it was, I posted in Oregon somewhere in one of the rural districts about, hey, here's what Biden's all about, but you want me to vote Trump, but you still want Biden. And they belittled me and said, oh, you just posted a something without substance. But it went down everything that Biden's against, Medicare for all. He did the crime bill. He's not, things are business as usual, all this stuff. And all they did was come back with, I'm just a Trump apologist. And this is supposed to be a progressive room. This is the kind of thing that I'm getting hit with, and I know we all are. And it only bothers me because of what you're talking about here. You have young Democrats supporting these neoliberal warmongers, the youth. Then you have the youth who get it, who are in the streets, and sometimes it's both are in there. So they're out there without the benefit of the experience or the in-depth, thinking about this whole thing, and they're fighting against their own interests when they support the neoliberal agenda instead of pushing back on the neoliberal agenda.
Yep.
And that's where I'm coming from. So I don't know. Is there anything left we can beat on this about? And you're going to talk about it on what show tonight?
Just be safe if you're going to be out on the front lines. Be in groups, be aware of your surroundings, and
buddy system. Have to make sure people inside, outside, at home know where you are and who to follow.
Phone numbers memorized too, because they don't let you have your phone when they arrest you. So if you don't have a number to call to get out or let somebody know where you're at,
write that on your arm with the Sharpie. Whatever you need to do.
So we were talking about PPE equipment for our first responders. These people going out activating on these issues, most important, they need PPE. And my question is, when they do gear up and get the shields and the anti-mace stuff, are the law enforcement or the fascist troops going to single them out and try and take them out first, or are they going to take out the easy targets like old bald white guys in wheelchairs?
No, they go after the leaders, the ones that they can, if you got a gas mask on, you're going to be able to take pepper sprays and gas a heck of a lot more. So of course they go after those first, but you're not safe. We've seen people in wheelchairs beat down, thrown out of their damn chairs, arrested,
disabled people's in their cars shot in their car, disabled, and they've got all the parking permits all over their car. They got the rack for the wheelchair on the back, and they're getting killed and beat up and everything else.
Welcome to America.
Wow, what a fast show this morning.
2020, baby.
2020. It's all because
you thought 2016 was a dumpster fire. You had no idea.
Nothing yet.
Just wait till see what Santa Claus brings you for Christmas this year. This is Sauger Crystal and Sauger. MSNBS enriches Trump grifters. Mary Trump book. Sales explode. Shanda, was it 940,000 sales the first day?
Yeah,
that's wild. Let's hear a little bit of this before we comment.
We've covered with great interest the grifting project, known as the Lincoln Project, headed by some never-Trumpers like Rick Wilson and John Weaver and Steve Schmidt, many of the other MSNBC liberals. Well, they are raking in the cash, Crystal. So they have raised $16.8 million, according to a new filing. And get this, from April to June, their largest fundraisers include Connecticut-based hedge fund manager Stephen Mandel, billionaire Democrat, Hollywood film magnate David Geffen, and this is my personal favorite, Josh Bekenstein, the co-chairman of Bain Capital, has given them $100,000 from that Stephen Colbert clip that we played earlier this week, just nuking Rick Wilson. They play this incredible montage of MSNBC liberals being like, that's why I'm giving money to the Lincoln Project, the Lincoln. It's like the Lincoln Project's only job is trolling Trump. And look, Trump is a moron for even going along with this, right? For tweeting back and playing into it. But also, it's just to make all of them feel better, to be like, like dunking on Donald Trump ads that go viral on Twitter. That job of political ads is to convince people, not to play to the things that you already believe. This is basically just like producing anti-Trump videos for yourself. It's like a great circular loop. And remember,
circular
these
loop.
people are
very a polite way to put it.
Yeah, right. There's another word I have for it. Right, and these people are all getting rich. They're paying themselves all kinds of money through their subcontracting fees and everything. They're making millions of dollars with the outright complicity and advertising of MSNBC.
I think I get it now. They let Sauger talk first because when Crystal talks, she has more substance and she's more on target. Would you agree with that?
Agree. And I just want to say, we told you so. You know, we called the Lincoln Project a month and a half ago.
Yeah, we didn't even get into it because it was like a no-brainer. Oh, Indivisible, David Brock. Lincoln Project. They're all connected at the hip. Okay, we know Trump bad, but you guys
it's for
are worse.
patriotism and survival of the nation.
Survival of the
Brock's
nation.
the biggest douchebag out there.
Oh my God! Yeah, the greasiest guy I've ever had to endure.
We have a request to lighten it up, by the way.
Lighten it up as possible.
Yeah, we would love to.
Yeah, does that mean we want to go into happy mode for the rest of the show?
Let's go into happy mode.
Let's go into
happy mode.
Okay, happy mode. I don't think I have anything happy mode. Do you want to try happy mode?
That's the dystopian dive.
The dystopian dive.
You know what the thing to me is? I'm like, spend your money, babies. Come on.
Go shop.
Just spend it all.
Yeah.
Donate it. This is such a small, population of the electorate that will even do any damage to Trump. It's really funny to me. So I just love to see them spending their money in shitty ways.
Stupid ways.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just me.
Yeah. Well, again,
save an oligarch today.
Save an oligarch today. I mean, this is a grift. I don't know how many. This is a multifaceted grift.
They're all grifts. This is the consultant and donor class. This is what keeps elections and politics running, and that's why it's so important to elect people who are not part of it.
Yeah. Well.
They rely on it.
They're the bootlickers. Yeah, I saw an ad this morning from a local candidate in my congressional district, and this ad was talking about how this individual supports your access to universal single-payer health care. It's like, really? But that's the consultant class again, telling this person to say the same thing, but to parse it like they're in favor of Medicare for all. So
let me guess, they use Blue Wave.
I would
go check out their donations. I bet there's some Blue Wave Democrat consultant fees in there.
And
don't do that, do they?
And Blue Wave is funded by what? The Hartford, Blue Cross, the pharmaceutical.
I believe. When would I last check? I think they were based out of Illinois or
Illinois. Okay.
Somewhere over there, yeah. But they're the they're the third way. They're the gotta do this. This is how we do.
Yeah.
Being Democrats of the blue.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, they're all against Medicare for all. However, there's one person that is not for Medicare for all, and I just want to say this person will be punished for this, I believe, even at a time when Joe Biden can walk into the White House unopposed. Maybe. Let's see who this person is. Got any guesses? No.
Wow. Could be anybody.
Shanda?
Yeah, there's so many.
Oh, well, Shanda, you missed this one then.
So there's a pretty interesting new convert to the Medicare for All cause. MSNBC host Joy Reid now says she cannot see one reason not to go forward with M4A. Here's her tweet. I will admit to being a past M4A skeptic with a lot of questions about what happens to union negotiated PPO plans, etc. Though a good friend whose family is a GM family in Flint told me she would far prefer M4A, I can't think of one good reason today to keep the current system. All right. I have a lot of thoughts about this.
Yeah, tell me.
Okay, so first of all, here's the thing. On one level, you're like, okay, just take yes for an answer, right? You've won someone over. This person sees, and there are probably other Americans, and that's what polling shows, who in the pandemic are like, oh my goodness, this whole employer-based system is a disaster. Turns out Medicare for All was the right choice. So that is good, and I'm glad about that. Let me just be clear about that. And this is a person who now has a primetime MSNBC show, by the way. So this is an influential individual. However, and Joy is someone who she just does not like Bernie Sanders. Like on a personal level, she just finds him objectionable. And so I think that it becomes clear that that was really the thing that was keeping her from supporting a policy that is good policy. That and of course, like the corporate influence that is endemic to all of corporate media, including MSNBC, of course. So it's very convenient that now that Bernie is out of the running, no longer a threat, and you have a likely incoming Joe Biden administration who is dead set against Medicare for all.
Veto it.
Right, he said he would veto it. He's dead set against it. They drew a hard line on it on the Unity Task Force. So like Medicare for all is not even in the offing for at least 4 years. So it's very safe to be for it now when there's not really any chance of it actually passing.
Yeah, and I mean,
Okay, I'm not going to listen to Sagar.
Co-opting witch, whatever. She's just trying to get progressives to follow her because we freaking hate her for the way she treated Bernie the last 4 years. So she can suck it.
Yeah.
Go vote for Biden.
Tell us how you really feel there, Amber. Shamber. Oh my God. I just, okay. How many minutes, hours, days is it going to take her to walk that statement back?
I'm surprised if she hasn't already.
What do you think? Do you think for all the reasons Crystal said that it's too little, too late to even worry about it? What do you think, Amber? Amber's typing.
I don't know.
I'm speechless.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even want to give that any time, you know?
I know. Just don't give me a lips time.
Let's give it. Oh, come on. We got to give Joy.
I don't give a shit.
I got to give MSNBS anything.
Well, I think Melissa sums it up for me right here.
Well, I want to see some action. We'll see some action.
Yeah, let's see you out there starting to use the bully pulpit of the public to stump for Medicare for all, Joy Reid, or is that against your contract? I've already spent too much time. Sorry, but I had to. This Joy Reid has been such a witch towards Bernie Sanders, like the View people, Whoopi, and the rest of those clowns over there, Joy Behar.
Don't even get me started.
I'm not. I don't give them any quarter except for disdain for their out of touch, their paid propagandism, whatever. They're just meat sacks working for the corporate overlords. Anyway, we want to thank Insight and Awareness. Thank you, $10 from Insight Awareness per character, bowing down, saying thank you.
I thank you.
Thank you.
That is awesome. Appreciate it.
We really do appreciate the help that goes to Uphill Media, and it helps us do some things like we're got coming this weekend and supporting independent media, no matter if it's our show, The Convo Couch, or some of the others. We all appreciate it. Thank you.
Right.
Let me see.
We are the media.
God, this has been a great show, and we've got things I'm going to have to drop. What should we go to next? You guys pick. Is there something sticking out in your mind? That
let's see. We did the Chuck Woolery. We did that. We have Trump's poll numbers. That was a good Crystal talking about how there's a secret Trump vote out there that nobody is talking about.
Is that the campaign spent on the polls? Crystal ball? Yeah, Trump's campaign. This is it right here. Let's listen to this, and then we'll...
Wait, polls are fake? Come on.
No.
We're going to go 0 to 209 on this.
They're so accurate. 0 to 209. Here we go. Okay, Crystal, you get your last word today for the Rising.
Rather devastating polls for one Donald J. Trump. Yesterday, we brought you a new NBC Wall Street Journal poll showing Trump trailing Biden nationally by 11 points. But wait, there's more. Quinnipiac is out with a poll that shows him down a stunning 15 points, with Biden leading 52 to 37. Now, that represents a 7-point shift against Trump in a single month. Earlier in the week, we also reported on a set of high-quality polls out of the Sunbelt states, including one showing Texas to be a virtual tie. We had the chance to ask a representative for the Trump campaign about whether they thought Texas was in fact a swing state. So here's what Director of Strategic Communications Mark Lauder had to say.
Not worried about Texas in the least. A lot of these polls that I've seen in recent weeks are just flawed in their methodology, including one of them I saw last week that oversampled Democrats by 5%, undersampled Republicans by 5%. And so it was just completely off in its model. And so all of our data shows that President Trump's running very strong in Texas.
Beth Dolio is the only Democrat bringing people together for a Medicare for All plan without premiums, deductibles, or copays. And because she rejects corporate PAC money, she's the only one we can trust to take on special interests and get it done.
Off in its model. Now, that's become a sort of standard response for the Trump campaign. They routinely claim that the public polls are wrong and that their internal data paints a much different picture. In fact, you might recall that back in early June, when CNN released a poll showing a 13-point Biden lead, which looked at the time to be an outlier and now kind of looks like it was a leading indicator, the Trump team went so far as to commission a polling memo in an attempt to discredit that poll. They even demanded an apology from CNN. Of course, they're never willing to share their own internal internal numbers, so it's hard to judge the veracity of their claims. But look, pollsters were wrong in 2016, leaving virtually everyone caught off guard by the end result. Could they be missing the mark significantly again? Voters actually seem to think so. A new Monmouth poll of Pennsylvania showing Biden with a sizable lead also asked respondents whether they believe there was a secret Trump vote not showing up in polls. So a full 57% actually said yes. So obviously it isn't just the Trump campaign, but a sizable chunk of the public that doesn't believe Biden has the edge polls are showing him to have.
All right, Shanda, let him have it.
Well, this speaks loud and clear to the fact that polling is way the fuck off again. We saw it in 2016. I mean, we didn't see the numbers inflated this high, but, I'm not no Trump supporter, proper grammar, but I absolutely believe that there is a subset of voters out there that don't admit that they're going to vote for Trump, but they're sure in the hell not going to vote for Biden in November. But they won't admit that they're going to vote for Trump.
Amber
smiles.
What do you think, Amber?
Yeah, the Trump vote. I don't know. I didn't read the rest of the article, but I don't think Biden's going to win. I don't think on his sunniest day ever he's got even remotely close to a chance.
Wow.
But I could be wrong, and honestly, I don't care at the end of the day because they're both the same. Yeah. And the apathy that follows a Democratic president gets us Trump 2.0, and nobody's talking about that.
But
how do we end that? Because we're not going to find ourselves better at the end of the day. We're going to see more of the same and an increased just mess. So I don't know. I don't follow polls. The only polls I saw were that the only candidate that beat Trump in October was Bernie Sanders, and we saw what happened.
Yep.
And they've put somebody up who we know won't beat Trump.
Yep.
Wow. I'm in your club here, and like I said, I'll fall on my sword with you guys. And we have advocated profusely that we don't count your chickens, Biden. But these polls, the level of how they have been shoving Joe Biden up everybody's ass and tickling them at the same time about how shitty Trump is. You would think that it should be a walk in the park for the Biden campaign. It should be.
Should be, but he has no campaign still.
He has no campaign. He is solely running on Trump bad fascist. We have to replace Trump at all costs. Screw the issues. And this is what I get when I go in these groups. And they just try and burn me down. And I say, oh, God, you know what? Fine, whatever,
Well, and so here's the two things that, the ruling class is afraid of. They're afraid of the QAnon evangelists, and they're afraid of our lefty progressives that are actually true progressives. And having that creepy ass ad pull up in the middle of that is just another example of that, where the true progressives are not getting any local traction.
What?
But you know what?
Not a progressive?
No.
That's happening all across the country.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Progressives are winning, and QAnon Republicans are winning.
Yep.
I have a deja vu here in my district. We've got, so many candidates running for in the 10th. We got Joshua Collins, who's actually a progressive. At least to the point of Medicare for all. I'll give you that, Shanda. We've got Dolio, who is the darling of the so-called progressives because she doesn't take corporate PAC money. Well, I think she does. Not to the level of Kristen Reeves, who has had her lips pressed to Patty Murray's ass for the last decade and a half. I get a trifold mailer, which is several $1,000s, and then I get a book with Kristen Reeves the other day that's 6 sides. Okay, that was probably double the last one, and it dropped just before the ballots dropped yesterday. So the money is trying to buy the name recognition. Oh, I just got a nice flyer, and she looks like such a nice person. I'm all good issues, sure. Access to medical and all. Yeah, I want that. Who are they targeting with this horse shit? Tell everybody.
Anybody who will listen.
Anybody who will listen. Who? Older people. older people who still suck at the teat of mainstream media, MSNBS, CNN, the rest of Fox for those who are inclined. And I don't know. It's just horrible. We are getting propagandized, and I'm going to say what I told you both in the green room. If it becomes a Biden administration, that's going to be the end of the Democratic Party, the establishment Democratic Party. That's the end of them, If we get a Trump, more of the same garbage that he's got. David Dole's arguing, would you rather fight Trump in the White House, or would you rather fight Biden being in the White House? My in on that is
both.
You got to fight them both. It's just different battles that you fight. And I believe with Trump in the White House, and this is not an advocate for a vote of Trump, but you're going to have more people focused on fighting Trump, where on the other side, at least a couple of demographics are going to go to sleep. So you're going to lose that element of the fight against the oligarchs who are running the country. Somebody said, oh, but don't you see, with a Biden presidency, it opens the door to more progressives being voted into office. I think that's the absolute most idiotic thing I've ever heard. It's the exact opposite of what they're saying with a Biden presidency. They're going to work harder to keep progressives out of office because the other side doesn't give a shit about progressives. They are go forward. So would you guys agree with that premise? A Biden presidency?
100%.
Yeah. So nut job down there in Oregon who said that to me last night. You better rethink it, buddy. Biden presidency, more progressives? No, they hate progressives. Yeah, and I just wanted to say, they opened the door for Bernie Sanders and then they slammed it in his head. So there you go. And once again, and we are at the top of the hour. My God, is there anything else we should cover before we go out and give our salutations to this wonderful group here today?
We will be organizing sign waving and get out the vote. It's get out the vote time in Washington, and we got amazing actual progressives running, and we are going to be doing everything we can to get them in office. So everybody read your voter's guide, connect with your people, talk to your, reach out to elected officials. I've got my number and address published, I'm meeting with constituents. I'm, doing what it takes in this strange, weird time to really help people and do something different. And that's what it's going to take to get us out of this paradigm and this, corporate controlled state of affairs. And if we don't change it, there's not a lot of hope for the United States. And they're not letting us out of the country. So
we can't even leave.
Keep that in check, no matter how much money you have.
Yeah, my brother, he can't get out of the country now. And he thought it was going to be a cup of tea because he's married to a citizen from another country. Well, guess what? He went over there without a visa. They threw him back. Ooh, so he's screwed. Amber King, you are running for candidate Washington, Snohomish County Council, seat 4. What's that all about, real quick?
So this is the District 4, which runs from Middle Creek, Briar, Montlake Terrace, parts of unincorporated Snohomish County, down to the county line here where I am in Montlake Terrace. And it's a big job. We've got one of the fastest growing counties in the entire country, and grappling with this was the hotbed outbreak of COVID, started in Snohomish County in the country. So, I'm running to replace an appointed 28-year-old former investment banker.
Yeah.
Do something a little different, re-envision what our communities and our county budgets can be doing to work for people.
Okay, and
an investment banker is actually thinking about the actual, poor and working people of your district. We know he's not.
Now, you are going to be on another show this afternoon, right, Amber?
I have a few shows, yes. Yeah. I will be on the Progressive Washington Party show at 2 o'clock. And then I'm really excited. I've got some great guests tonight on Brave New Future. I've got Lynn Idahosa and candidate Mariana Everson tonight at 7.
Okay, that's cool. And I always try and find the ones that are in disagreement with us. So, Melissa, this is for you because we love you, Melissa. Uphill Media, I don't think that's true at all. I think if Biden is in, we will increase our protests, not decrease them. Those okay with Biden aren't really resisting Trump at all. So I see some validity in your point. What do you ladies think?
I agree. I hope that's what's going to happen. If Biden is elected, then the far left of the party, that, we have this false sense of unity right now because we have to unify to beat Trump, right? So there's so many progressives that are towing the line. Well, if Biden does get elected, we can't be towing the line. Then will be the time to just tear the party apart for the issues and values that we want represented, not what they're shoving down our throats.
Amber?
Yeah,
it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
I don't know. It's very very contentious. It's those that are fighting to get back to the status quo, and the rest of us that are fighting for something different because we see what wasn't working before. And that's the change we need, and that's the change I'm going to keep fighting for and keep preaching about to whoever will listen. And I don't think I'm alone in that. And we've got to stop this nonsense pretending that this has been working for anybody, because it's not.
No,
we're about to see. We're on the edge of the cliff right now.
Yeah, we are. There's so many things mitigating what goes forward. The whole world, the face of the planet is going to change, and it's changing now. There's going to be a stark point of demarcation in November with no matter which administration, gets in there. Again, I think that our premise about, Trump versus Biden in the White House, I think Melissa makes a strong case for her opinion on that, and I kind of agree, because my case may have been kind of weak in the sense of losing those demographics, because we've got so much shit happening now that's going to affect real-time changes of attitudes and opposition to things, that might be the fire that does not allow the other side, once a Biden gets in, to go to sleep. So I guess in that respect, sure, I will agree with you, Melissa, absolutely, on your point. I think both of our points have some merit, though, and that's kind of a wishy-washy way to go about it, but again, we love all of our pushback people as long as it's not insulting and degrading, and calling people white privileged really kind of sets me off.
Open discussion. Is how we have to move forward as a society.
Yeah, and if you want to come in and debate an issue, we'd love to format a show around that. Anyway, ladies, it's been wonderful. Thank you for Friday again, and we're both going to be busy. We got PDPR convention tomorrow and Sunday with Larry Taylor. Is there anything I should add to that, ladies, about other than we're going to be there watching it go smoothly, I hope? Nina Turner and Rokana are going to be keynote speakers Sunday. Is that correct, Amber?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. So we've got that, and again, no joke. So anyway, everybody, bye, everybody. Have a great afternoon. Amber, say bye. I know you're texting. Say bye. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone. Have a great weekend. Hope to see you later today and tonight.
Yeah, and we're going to go out with a nice, easygoing song that brings me back to my youth. It's a great cover. Hopefully we won't get banged for it. Let me know if you can hear it.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is old there.